The Adventures in Consciousness is a 10-chapter series.
Do you trust yourself? And the highest level of self-esteem, have to say, do you trust that whatever you invest in with good intention, you will get a result? My name is Jack Heynen, and I'm the creator of the 10-chapter course called Adventures in Consciousness.
My name is Allie Crawford, and I'm supporting Jack Heynen on the Adventures in Consciousness series. So we're on chapter 9, the second from the last, and we're talking about the pursuit of our highest intentions. One of the main ideas of this particular chapter is that growth requires conscious intention, disciplined practice, and consistent effort. Can you talk a little bit about those core needs of highest pursuits of intentions?
Well, the ones you mentioned are really the main components of practicing intention. I can see that as I look at my life and, as a child, what were my intentions? I just wanted fun, right? I'm not thinking what schooling I'm going to go to. I just wanted fun. And music, my family, we had a quartet, the Heynen brothers quartet. So that was an intention of having some fame, some fun, some money. And I think part of what my search was, what gives me energy? People give me energy, ideas. And so I was more into the idea of relationships. And I think that was good for me to know. I'm a people person, I'm an extrovert, right? So that's part of what do I love to do and love to learn.
Being conscious of that in yourself, to even know what you might be pursuing.
Yeah. Some of that comes from my family. I think I was the only one of 8 children that went to university on the tail end of the 10. And coming from Holland, they were not university proceedings. So that was my experience. And so I think my intention grew, where should I go? What should I study?
Maybe this pursuit isn't going to be lined up for you. You're not going to have your education paid, but having your conscious intention and then being disciplined and consistent enough to pursue it and to hear and listen to your awareness and then to take action in that direction to make it happen for yourself.
Well, you're using the being aware of yourself. And in the teaching of consciousness, very important. Be aware of what's going on. And I'm very pleased that that growing awareness led me into the direction. And now doing consciousness teachings at university, that's the direction I'm still in, but this is more specified.
Right.
It's more intentional. This is where I want to make a contribution to my own further evolving, but on the planet.
And then if you think about times where that pursuit didn't feel very clear, some hard times that you had in your life, where maybe even the path of finding your conscious intention. Can you speak a little bit about that side of things as well?
Well, I'll tell you, in my own journey, after I started psychology and what I learned then, I'm not going to be a psychologist. So next year, then in psychology, I'll go to chemistry. Yeah, well, that's very interesting, but I'm a people person. I don't want to be in a laboratory for the rest of my life. No, let's take a year out. So I go back to the Yukon and I play soccer. I make money. We had a lot of fun, friends, but I want to go back to university. So what do I want to take now? Go to the University of Saskatoon and take engineering. I lasted 2 weeks. It was not my place. Right. I bought a motorcycle. I became a junkie. I was going to go to a lumber camp where nobody knew me. Later on, I thought, guess who's in charge of the universe? He said, I don't want you to be an engineer. I'm going to make it difficult for you. That's how I reason it. That's how I interpret it. I had a year to find myself. Wonderful school. Now I'm ready to go back to university and I am pursuing what I like to learn, sociology. And here we are teaching consciousness in classes of sociology and psychology and all of this. I'm living my dream. Wow. But was it tough? Yes, it was tough.
One of the main ideas was attention plus intention equals personal and collective experience. So where your attention and intention goes becomes your experience.
I like the fact that you're describing it that way. The energy that's available to us, which is consciousness, available, agreed for everybody.
Yeah.
But how do you channel that? So first of all, are you excited about living? That's your attention. or do you have a project? Are you creating something? So I like personal differences. That's my study. How do you apply that into teamwork? How do you apply leadership? Now that is your attention with intention.
Right. So if we think about some of the shifts that we can make when we're actually pursuing our highest intentions, moving from isolation into connection, frustration into fulfillment, survival into contribution. Can you talk about some of the shifts?
I think the word you're using is very appropriate, shifts. Would you say we're going through shifts?
Yeah.
Are you going through shifts?
Constantly, yeah.
Yeah, constantly. So the fact is that we can say that we are people shifting educationally, emotionally, intellectually. If you're at all curious, we ought to be shifting. But is the shifting having a valued intention? So, I mean, if I think, for example, of hopingly this course will attract leaders of organizations. And if they say, we like what you've got, but we're in a business of oil or gas, and we're facing the need to change to be more planetary, I'm your guy to go and work with. Because while you are still doing the work, you could form a team whose job it is help us to shift. When I said get a team of specialists, geologists and engineers and the ones that know, and figure out what more could we receive from planet Earth that will fire up the homes and factories, but that is safe now. See, in consciousness, I am convinced that supercoherence has all of that already. I believe that. That's my faith applied. That's my understanding of the cosmos. So if you dedicate a team to that and then say, your job is to further our company in a safer way, your intention will be rewarded. When you have a team like that, train them. Train them in consciousness application. Train them to realize that the ideas don't come just on the human level. They come from the human interacting with the divine level. So be respectful of all cultures and religions. And when you have that intention, we are going to be fantastic planetary citizens, because the cosmos out there is already doing it.
One big piece that you mentioned was trust. That's been a really important aspect of this conversation, about trust in yourself, in the Creator, and however you may define it. Trust in one another, trust in your intentions. Can you speak about the impact of trust in your life?
When parents are walking and the child is between them, what does this child want to do? Swing me. And you see that child swings. Well, the child doesn't say, Grandpa, Dad, Mom, can you hold me? Right? Like, no, they just trust. And the further you throw them up in the air, the more they like it, and then repeat it. So trust is something very, in my mind, profound. It's profound in the sense that it gives you an adventure because you trust the people around you. Now you have to turn the trust from your relationship with other people to, do you trust yourself? And the highest level of self-esteem have to say, do you trust that whatever you invest in with good intention, you will get a result? Now, I am convinced that that should be applied to the universe. We have a creator that has been creating, however you define it, but we are now part of expansion together. The universe is expanding. Am I expanding, or am I having the hardening of the categories? No, keep learning. Keeps you young.
What are some application steps you could help people to gain more trust in themselves?
I believe that people need to see themselves capable and generous. I want to say again to that wonderful statement, but anybody could add the number of seeds in an apple. But only the Creator knows the number of apples in a seed. Within every idea are possibilities. So get an attitude, get a trust that that is the planet we live on. And for goodness sake, be part of keeping it healthy. And if you're a leader, then you will be an excellent leader when you say, whatever damage we do to the planet, we will restore it. The Pembina Institute in Alberta says, okay, we understand you take the gas and the oil and all this and that, but what damage are you doing? So if you're saying that you make $20 million of profit, did you put another $2 million back into the planet to restore it? I like that thinking. I don't like people that are hungry for money and no responsibility. You're not going to be a member of my team. And if you say, come and do your program, I want to know, are you going to take the program seriously? And if not, don't ask me, I'm not your guy. But you have to go deep and high. And so that is the application of trusting in a universe that is doing okay.
And if we think about on an individual level of trust as well, even when we're thinking about pursuing our highest intentions, if we don't have the trust in ourselves to even get there, what application steps can we take to start to build that trust in ourselves?
I come from a family, a poor family, and therefore my experience has that we've always done without. And so now I'm becoming an adult. If I continue to say, we will never have, you see, it's deep within you when you say, no, I don't buy it anymore. I will change from fear, doubt, and hate into faith, hope, and love. And that means that you're sending a whole different message to the universe. And a universe which is already rich, is plentiful. We've got stars all over the universe, billions of galaxies. So get a bigger picture. Free yourself from any dogmas, because the greater mind and presence of the universe knows us. The Bible is very specific. I see you, I know you. Isaiah 65:24 says, before you pray, I know you already. I know what you want. That's a trust in the universe. And so people that say, oh, I'm not a religious person, I will often ask them, are you spiritual? Oh, they will say, but I'm spiritual. I said, bless you. That's good for you. Spirituality says we belong to the universe. We are already loved. So now get changing your perceptions and your beliefs and your attitudes. And the more you do, you're using the goodness of the universe. That's consciousness.
And putting trust in something that you can't fully know the outcome ahead of time. In this pursuit of highest intentions, it's having the intention, having trust, putting that into your awareness and believing it, shifting your perceptions, getting rid of those things that no longer serve you, and then being able to fully trust in something that might take a little while to prove itself to you.
I just want to comment to that because
Please.
you're using words that are so precious in the composition of it. Because if we're beginning to look at trust, is trust not that what each of us are doing in our relationships with those around us? You're going to find your best partners. You will find your best careers. You will be active till the end of your life because you're only taking consciousness and shaping it, as we keep saying.
Yeah.
You are shaping it. Well, that's a pretty nice lifestyle. So when your time is up and you are going to say goodbye and you're on you go and your spirit is freed and you're on to the next level, it's eternal. I am so blessed feeling that life is eternal. I will continue in whatever form. And so there is no fear. All I want to do is live as much and as best as I can and bring that together with others. That's the intention of the program. And then when I do that, I had a good trip. We'll see you. Onward and forward we go.
Theme of the chapter, the pursuit of the highest intention. That intention relating to benefiting themselves, others, communities, and planet. Can you expand on that at all?
I think the 4 parts you use are so incredibly important. Personally, collectively, community-wise, and then the planet. These are the 4 main parts that all of us go through. And I think as we evolve, we should continue, in my mind, to pay attention to those 4 parts. Personally, and your family. I felt the beauty of music or paintings. It's all part of life. And I think life is a mixture. It's a smorgasbord. But it gets back to ourselves to say, how am I relating to myself, to other people? So I am an inspiration and a blessing. And then when you've lived long enough, that is a mindfulness, isn't it? That's a faith. That's a trust. And so we're here only for a short period of time. I think it's wonderful when a politician or a musician that has made a contribution has a wonderful gathering, maybe even a state funeral, and we say that person has made tremendous. Each of us can do that. Don't compare yourself with anybody. Just live your own life and apply that consciousness, and you will have an artistic contributor experience.
And I think also to be able to do that, learning to listen to yourself. We spoke about that in the previous chapters of listening to the ideas that come to your mind. There's a reason why those ideas are coming to you, and that might be the answer to your pursuit of the highest intentions. When you start following that, it'll naturally ripple to yourself, to others, to your communities, and to the planet.
There are many times now that I will be writing, or I wake up from a dream and I'm thinking, what was that dream about? Like, what was the message in that? Get up and write it down. See, life is to me a continuation. It's by divine design. And so when you pray, believe that you're going to have an answer, personally and collectively. It has been known now scientifically that where science and spirituality come together, where a massive bunch of people, say in a city in the United States, and they wanted to get together and put the right mindfulness towards the well-being, the accident rate went down, the thefts went down, fewer fires, all this. We are just beginning to understand that our collective mindset can make a difference on the planet because we have that power. And so to me, that's wonderful.
How has your understanding of growth, healing, and intentional living evolved?
The subject that I teach, I want to learn more and more of all facets of it, the whole concept of consciousness. And to me, while it's as complex as it could be, it is the source of energy. So of that, it's available everybody. Doesn't matter what membership you have, it's there. I want to learn to trust that. I want to apply that. I want to help shape it. So that is an intellectual understanding. And now that's connected to my spiritual sense of the universe. Now the question is, am I getting in shape? And am I being a joy? I feel connected. My family is saying, Dad, I'm amazed how busy you are. That's what I want. That's my nature. Now, other people don't need that. They're more quiet by themselves. We're all different.
And how does that connect to consciousness?
Consciousness, as I look almost in the universe, and I realize, what is this universe about? And I'm beginning to realize we are in the Milky Way, and they say there are galaxies in the Milky Way alone, and we're one of billions of galaxies. I can't just not say, well, that's very nice, but it doesn't mean anything to me. It means everything to me, that if we're not running into each other and we're expanding as the scientists, I want to know about that.
What impact could the pursuit of highest intentions have on people in their relationships?
I think I would say keep a really balanced part of your life. I'm beginning painting for a number of years. So I've got some nice paintings on my wall. Develop the artistic part. If you're a music, if you're a knitter or whatever. What a great to have a hobby in your life and to help people in need. Take time for yourself. Go for walks. Have a balanced life and have an intentional life. To me, what else is there?
So a common conversation is that the loneliness rates in our world these days have increased a lot, and it's impacting a lot of different people in different ways. And I'm wondering if you have any perspective of being able to support people in that area based on this specific chapter of looking for the highest level of intentions. And maybe also because our viewership is around 80% men, can you speak on behalf of that?
So if men become more into themselves, and they become more sensitive to their feelings, if they become more aware of what they can contribute as a partner in a relationship and as a family, so that bringing a sense of confidence in their relationships, that's a lifetime job. And I find it fascinating to read more as a psychologist, the different dimensions in that. Just live a foundational life. Just give this to others, that you have a deep sense of values and that you believe in yourself that you can make a great contribution. In fact, it was so interesting in the lovely cards that my late wife, Evangeline, and I'm a card sharp, she writes saying, Jack, I love having been married to you for all these years. And just don't forget that I chose you as the father of my children. And I'm thinking, I got chosen by you because you had intention to have a family with me? And I still remember watching a picture of one of my nephews as a baby, and I'm helping putting the little boots on a youngster. And Vange is watching me when we were boyfriend, girlfriend, and she probably said, I know how he relates to the little kids, so I think he'd make a good dad. I would say I'm learning to realize, live my own life. Don't try to impress them. You'll just impress them by the way who you are.
Yeah, there's that line that I always like to use in every area of my life that is, I don't chase, I attract. And I think that that helps in any area. It's the shift of energy from the chasing of something to the attraction of something. And I think for everybody, using the different teachings up to now and moving into the 10th later on, but using these chapters to actually find that groundedness in yourself, that it is the pursuit of yourself. And that when you're the most aligned with yourself and you're not in the energy of chasing or the desperation or the need of control or the need of external support, rather than having that groundedness in yourself, then you'll begin to attract those who are also on that pursuit. So it's a beautiful journey when you're pursuing highest level of intentions for yourself, but then you find those who are also on that journey as well, and that attraction naturally is to find you.
So I like that very much. Now, if you were to look at that attraction, how would you connect that to the reality of trust?
I think I have to sit in myself and trust myself, because I think when you're in a chasing energy, you're not trusting yourself. You're not trusting that things will naturally work out for you. Between trust and attraction, it's when you settle into yourself, you begin to trust yourself, you begin to trust the universe, you begin to trust your systems and your communities, and even just the energy shift into attraction makes you more peaceful and grounded. I would say that there's a huge connection between the two, and that they really do go hand in hand. When you become aware of where you are in your mind, are you in a chase state or are you in a attract state? You can also sense that on others. So I think it's everybody's individual responsibility to be on this pursuit of highest intention, or give that into communities and allow it to come back in that way, rather than forcing it to come from areas it's not naturally coming from.
I appreciate hearing that, because I'm hoping that if more men watch it, they can get that sense of trust building, attracting in their normal male sense, and they can do that as they are in relationships now. Is the way you treat your spouse and your children is the way in which you're sharing the best of you. I am of an increasing understanding that when we talk consciousness of the universe, all the ingredients like good soil are already in there. I think you have to do a little bit of reflecting on what is preventing you from. So I think take a look inside of you and bring the best loving caringness of yourself. And so get in touch with me and we'll have a good conversation.
So thank you for listening to Chapter 9 of the Adventures in Consciousness on the Pursuit of Highest Intentions. As you reflect on some of the ideas that we've discussed today, we would love for you to sit with some of these questions. And please comment your answers in the comment section. Subscribe if you're interested in these conversations. Are you intentionally growing or simply reacting to life? What kind of energy, attention, and intention are you feeding each day? And how can you contribute to healthier people, healthier communities, and a healthier planet? We would love to hear from you. Subscribe, like, comment, and we'll love to continue this conversation with you.